So Explore Days have become one of my favorite events that we have here with the 314 ADV group. They are what I do in order to help create some fantastic routes, particularly the last ride we did back in April with the Cabin Fever ride. And actually this one here that we're doing is designed for the 2024 Cabin Fever ride coming up in April. So I'm really stoked about it. The thing I like most about Explore Days is that typically we get people that are going to show up because I make it really early. So people that are dedicated and committed and love to ride. And that's what this is going to be about. Sometimes we end up just doing nothing but pavement, but fortunately for things like today, we got quite a bit of good time into the woods. Unfortunately, one of our guys got hurt pretty early on, so we had to tame it back quite a bit. And that's okay. That happens. It could have been me, could have been anybody else. And while we want to blame it on the fact that he was on a heavy 650 GS with some like 80/20 tires, you know what? You could be on a 300 two-stroke with gummies, and it still happened. So not a big deal on that end. But if you want to know what it's like to hang out with 314 ADV group, do an Explore Day, this is kind of the stuff that we're getting into. So as you can tell, we really want to make sure that you have something like a 701 or lighter bike that's got at least 50/50 tires, and you are comfortable with mud, loose rock uphills, washouts, things like that. This is not designed for a big bike. This is not designed for a new rider. This is not designed for a bike that isn't set up properly. Is it worth it?
What's it looking like?
It's just muddy.
Looks like you have to get down in it, don't
You got to get down in it.
Yeah. Is there any way to ride on the top center?
Well, you're risking it.
Them slick tires aren't going to make it on that top center.
No.
They'll be down in it.
Good. I wouldn't mind, but I don't want to get someone stuck.
Right.
For leverage there. Yep. And while this is going to be the basis of some of the more extreme or advanced dual sport sections of our ride, honestly, this is just the nitty gritty. We'll have some fantastic adventure route wrapped around the dual sport route, wrapped around the nitty gritty, or I should say it's the other way around. The adventure the nitty gritty will be additions to the dual sport, and the dual sport will be offshoots from the adventure. So whether you're on a new rider on a 1250 GS, whether you're on a Himalayan, which is, doesn't have the power to go up steep hills, or you're on a 450 or CRF 300, these are going to be fantastic for you. So thank you for hanging out with me today and watching what we're doing. I hope you enjoy it. I'll kind of give you some feedback as we go through this, but this is what to kind of expect if you show up for an Explore Day. All right, thanks guys. Yeah. Let's turn around. It's not getting any better. Now, normally I like to be on comms with whoever I'm riding with, and while most of the people I ride with will be using the Cardo, Bold, Black, the new ones, unfortunately these we had two riders with Senna and one without a helmet comm. Now I did get a Senna recently and had it mounted into my helmet, so I could run both the Cardo and the Senna through the same speakers with different mics. But I took it out for the Wyoming BDR that we just finished up, since I knew everyone on that trip was going to have Cardos. Forgot to put it back in, but this is one of the reasons. So at this point, I have no communication with them, and it wasn't until I come back that I realized what's going on. So if you can, make sure you ride with some comms. Makes Explore days way easier.
Yeah, it's only getting worse.
Getting better or worse? Steve?
Worse.
Worse.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think we should turn around.
Yeah. Shout how it'll feel.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Broke or bruised, one of the two.
Fuck. Can you cough?
What's that?
Can you cough?
It doesn't hurt. I've broke before and it doesn't feel broke, but I don't know if that's still just adrenaline.
Yeah.
Running.
You're not going to know for about an hour.
Blowing the cough.
So.
Yeah. It could be true. Sorry guys, I'm gonna be that guy.
So when you're in the lead, it's a little difficult to get an idea of the struggle people may or may not be doing. But as you can see here, this tire is squapping back and forth. The other thing, though, you'll see I always have a GPS unit. I use my phone. I use Gaia GPS. I've tried Onyx Off-Road. It's getting better. It's not quite as good as Gaia yet, in my opinion. I use iPhones, so I don't use some of the other apps like Osmand. I can't remember that one. But tracking where you go is important, not just where you want to go, because this was a perfect example of where coming in, we could not see the trail, and there's a trail moving in a direction that isn't even on the map. So having had my breadcrumb track, was able to get back out. Otherwise, we could have just kept going, and heck if I know where we would have ended up at. The other neat thing is that you could tell on this trail that it looked like it should connect up with another trail, but didn't show it. Later on, when we're exploring, we almost get to the point where it connects up, but because it's so darn wet and so darn sloppy, we really didn't want to risk going down a hill that we would have to wench the bikes back up if it was too soft or too loose. So if you notice a couple shots, I have actually a Green Chili wench pulley system on their handheld one. It's phenomenal. We've used it, I think, 2 or 3 times now in the last 3 years. And anytime I go exploring, you always want a tow strap, first aid kit, and some type of wench system. Oh, and a saw. Definitely a saw.
I went down.
Oh, no. There you go.
I get a sticker, right?
You do? Well, maybe. Oh no? They've got a whole bunch of.
Back. I might have been here years ago on dual sport.
There's a whole bunch of chutes that you can come up off of.
Yeah.
They're a little tricky because they're real loose down and through there. This will go back out to the highway. We're gonna end up going that way back out. But
I got some.
yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
I brought some because I do. How was that trail?
Well, we got all the way to almost connecting up with the previous trail. There's a mud hole, and then a nasty downhill that we skipped. So I'll come back later. They all run lean.
I know what I'm saying. I'm on my 500. I had to play with that throttle position sensor to get it.
Right.
It kept flaming out every time you go up to the stop sign.
Oh yeah, this is flaming out.
There's a bunch of waters, but they're pretty shallow. Okay. I think that should work. You want to do an undercut so it doesn't bind? Yeah. Take a little bit. That's a big sinkhole.
Well, I know I'm no expert videographer or YouTuber or anything like that, but this is a good idea of what it is we do on a day like this. Now, granted, it was about 6 hours, so wrap in a whole bunch more gravel and a little bit more pavement, and you'll know what we're going in. I can't show everything in a day that we do, but this is a great idea. So come join us on our next Explore Day. If you got the bike, the attitude, and the effort, let's make it happen. Thanks, guys.